Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. I'm coming to you, we'll pretend, on Saturday, November 29th at 11:59 p.m. instead of 12 a.m. on Sunday, November 30th. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, coming to you from very snowy Wisconsin. I would say we have probably at least 8 inches of snow in our yard. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way, see if I can get hooked up here so I can see if folks are following me live. And we'll start our chat. All right, looks like sound is working. That's always a good thing. And let's do our quickie announcements. I know some people don't like to pop on right away because I do my little 30-second commercial that takes a couple of minutes. Product of the month starts December 2nd. It's been rumored it's going to be Designer Series paper. If you don't know what it's about, check one of my last couple of lives. I've explained it. Hello, Tanya. Welcome. Cyber Monday is coming up. Discounted pricing on prepaid paper pumpkin subscriptions. December 1st to the 9th. December 10th closes everything out. You do have to take the December kit. So if you're already a subscriber, suspend your current December kit from your running paper pumpkin subscription unless you want multiple ones. If you've got questions, let me know. Black Friday, first ever, Stampin' Up! Started at November 25th. A lot of the things have already sold out. That's kind of what Black Friday is all about. Good deals, go fast. There's still alcohol blends. So if you don't have blends, or if you are missing some blends, or if your blends are getting a little light, it might be time to replace them. Those are 40% off. And then Stampin' Up! Is doing these virtual craft classes. This last one was November 20th. You can still buy the class. I'm not sure if the suite of products is available, but you can use your stash too. So that's all the, excuse me, that's all the sale announcements I have, but we do have the new mini catalog. Let me get my little cough drop here. I cannot show you the inside because I'm not allowed to. I can only show you the cover. This becomes effective January 6th. If you are not one of my current customers and you would like a catalog and you do not have a demonstrator, let me know. I would be more than happy to send you a catalog. Once January 6th comes, I can show the inside. There's lots of fun stuff in there, and there are a lot of online exclusives. So let's get down to business. I took a friend's advice and I cooked my turkey today for our Thanksgiving that we're having tomorrow. And I'm letting that rest right now, and I'm gonna work with it before I go to bed so that it's all ready for lunch tomorrow, provided we meet, depending on how much snow we get. So, Tanya, how's the weather by you? It is very snowy and cold and windy by us. I actually went and did a glass blowing class today. I have done glass fusing before, but never glass blowing. And I am a big fan of sculptures, glass blowing. Chihuly is one of my favorite artists. And I made a glass pumpkin today. So it has to go through the finishing process and the cool down and whatever it is they do to glass to make sure that it's not as fragile as we might think it could be. So I'll be able to pick that up in a few days. And as soon as I do, I will show you folks my artwork. It was a great class. I will definitely go and do it again, but it's really hard to get into. It sells out fast. So I thought we would do a little fun fold today. And Tanya, it might be all up to you as to what we do. I came across a fun fold, and I don't remember who it was. If I find it, I'll figure it out. But it's really a simple fun fold. So it's kind of like a gatefold. Hello, Susan from Melbourne, Australia. It's supposed to be the first day of your summer today. Yeah, you wouldn't know what snow's like, right? Or what cold, blustery winter is like. Yeah, lucky you. Our snow is very pretty, but that's about the only use I have for it is the scenery. It can go away now. I've seen it. I'm done. So anyway, this is just a cute little fun fold. Pretty simple. All right, so Tanya, you're hot as well. Because you're in Australia too, right? You're in, or maybe you're in New Zealand. I have my time zones. Melbourne is 17 hours ahead of me, and New Zealand is 19 ahead of me. So Tanya, maybe you're in New Zealand, right? So anyway, yep, New Zealand. The comments are delayed, so I apologize if I'm a little late on the draw. So this is just a pretty easy fun fold. It's probably not new. The sample I saw, I don't even know where it came across my feed, but when I clicked into it, hello, Yuda. The video was from a year ago, maybe? I don't know. It was not like it was in the last couple of days for the video that I saw. So, Linda Dickinson, welcome. So, we are going to do this today. It is so super simple, all right? But we'll have to decide, do we want to go bright for those summer people? Or do we want to do some blue hues that are more seasonally Christmas that some of those of us that are here have right now? All right. And then I'll do some quick measurements here, and you will just see how absolutely simple this is. And if you've already done it before, hopefully it won't be boring. Hopefully it'll be entertaining because we'll be doing it with whatever it is we have here. So we have a piece of cardstock that is 8 3/16. I think is what I did. 8, yeah, 1, 2, 3. So I've got 8 3/16. I don't usually do 16ths by 5.5. And then I've scored it at 2 1/16. Nope, at 2. This one's at 2. This one's at 2. I did 2 versions. So one is a little, there's a little less of a gap. So this one has a bigger gap. We'll play with them both. So this is a 2-inch score. And then if you flip it over, it's a 2-inch score. Or 2 inches and then 6 1/4. Or 6 1/4 inches. There's my tutorial. Okay. And then I just took a couple of shapes. Now this one, what I saw, it was done with 2 circles that were different sizes. So there was a bigger one and a smaller one. But I thought, well, why couldn't you just do it with any shapes? Really. So I did a square, and I used my Stylish Shapes dies. And I did a circle and I did a square. So just whatever size you want on the front of your card, you know, it is what it is. And I'll show you how we put that together in just a minute once we figure out what we want to do. So bright or festive. So this is 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16. 8 5/16 by 5.5. And I don't know if you can see, but I had a couple of different score lines on here because I wasn't sure where I was going with it. And then I went in to 2 1/16 inch. And then this was 2 1/16 as well. And again, I don't normally do 16ths. but I wanted the right gap. And then this one is, if we wanted to go all the way in, it would be 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16. Score. So we'll do this is kind of how I do my templates. So if I'm trying to figure out a card, because a lot of times I won't go to websites, I won't find festive. Okay, cool. I won't find measurement sheets. A lot of times I won't listen to the whole tutorial. You know, I can't sit still that long sometimes. And who has time, you know? So I'll use some of my old cardstock and I'll just start playing around and figure out what works. All right, so let me get this out of the way for right now. All right, so I'm gonna get this stuff out of the way. Looks like we're doing festive, at least for now. We'll see what kind of time we have later. We might do more, who knows? Or I might do another version that's festive. All right, so if you like this narrow slot in here, and functionality is going to be pretty much the same. All right. Functionality will be pretty much the same, but if you like it with just a narrow slit, this is the template you want to look at. If you want it with just a little bit wider, so this is going to be a good 1/8 inch. It's going to be a 1/4 inch. So this one is an 1/8 inch slit. So we've got 1/8 inch gap. And then this one is a 1/4 inch gap. All right, so those are our two styles. So this one has the narrower gap. This one has the wider gap, so you can see they're pretty much the same. And then just get 2 shapes. One larger, one smaller. And that just needs to fit the front of your card. Okay. So if we are going to do, I can put those back out later too if you need them. But it's pretty basic. You'll be, if you've been crafting for a while, you'll be able to figure it out all on your own, or you probably already have it in your head. All right, so let's just put these off to the side. We can put these off to the side. I thought it might be fun to use some of this fun paper here, because this is so pretty. We may layer some with this because that's a lot going on, right? Hi, Bon. So let's decide. Do we want a thick basic white background, or do we want to do one of like the cloud cover? Cloud cover might be kind of dreary if we're going to do a festive card. White would be nice and bright, so we could do either the, I don't know if those are supposed to be hydrangeas or what those are supposed to be, or we could do doves. If we want festive, I would say probably the doves and the glimmer maybe. What else do we have in here? Or we have these doves and the misty moonlight. So this glimmer paper also comes in other colors. I don't know if they call it glimmer or glitter. Peaceful Garden Glimmer specialty paper. So it's blue, dark gray, and soft green. So apparently this is soft green. Who knew? It looks silver to me. So we'll figure that out. All right. So Let's see what some of the backs of these look like. That's kind of drab with just the brown hue. This looks like cloud cover. The stars might be pretty, and we'd have to pair that with this darker glimmer paper. That, I think, would have to go with the darker glimmer paper as well. Let's see what else we have. Let's see what this one is. All right, so that's this. I don't think either of these is very festive. If we want to do festive, let's do festive, right? All right, do we want to do dark stars or bright doves, or do we want to do like a foliage festive? I could find some other, probably find some other dyes. Because we've got this one from the Delicate Pines. Let's go ahead and do maybe a bright white. And I'm using the thick basic white because it gives us a nice card base. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this right away at 5.5. I'm not going to do my scoring for multiple cards just because I don't know whether I'm going to do a second one with the white. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and score this at 2 1/16 because I'm going to go for the more narrow slot, I think. Is that what I wanted? 2 1/16? No, I probably wanted the wider one, or the narrower one. This should get me to 4 1/4, and it does not because I forgot to cut that down. So it is, where'd my little master go here? We'll just cut it again. So I want 8 3/16, not 8.5. I forgot to cut it down. So 8 1 2 3/16 is right there. Let's try this again. Good thing it's only paper, right? All right, and then let's do this. I want to do the narrower gap. So that's an 1/8 inch gap. So I'm going to go 2 1/16 here. Now I can do the 2 1/16. And I'm just going to turn it around and do 2 1/16 that way, rather than trust my math skills on any given day. All right. So let's get this out of the way. And now we can fold these in. And for whatever reason, it still didn't work. Look at that. Oh, we're just having a hard time here. So this should have been 8 5/16. All right, let's go get one more piece of paper. Let's just see if this was, if that was 2 inches. We could probably get this to work. Let's see. All right, so I want to do 8 5/16. All right, there's 4, 5. And then if we're doing 2 1/16, that's this one. And then 2 1/16. I'm just going to press this one out of here for purposes of our example. It will probably be fine. When I make more of these to send them out, I will not use my prototype. All right, so let's do this at 2 1/16, and we'll see if this looks better now. let's see. This should be 4 1/4. And it's a little shy of 4 1/4. So something I measured wrong again. Who knew? This one worked out good. So we've got 8 and 5. This one I cut just a little shy. So that's all right. All I'm gonna do is trim just a little bit off of here. You can always fix stuff, right? And there, that's close enough. So that one's at 2. This one's at 2 1/16. Whoever gets this is probably not gonna know, and this will be my prototype anyway. All right, if you cut per my measurements, you'll be fine. Just don't cut like I'm cutting right now. And then we're gonna need a couple of layers. So let's do the dark shimmer. And if I've got one side that's 2, I'm gonna go down just a 1/16. And I'm actually gonna flip this glimmer paper over. So basically I'm gonna go just a 1/16 inch smaller than what that is cut. And then I'm gonna make this go end to end. So I'm gonna go ahead 5 1/2 here. $42 cards today. That's amazing. All right, so we'll trim this a little bit because if this is 2 1/16, we're gonna go down to 2 for sure. And maybe I'll go just a 1/16 under. There we go. So there's one there. And then this one, no breaks. That's a long time. That's a long time. So if we're gonna go 2, I'm gonna go 1 7/8. I think that's what I want. And then 5 1/2. And let's see if that works. So this one is coming here. And these are gonna be so close that whoever gets this is not gonna realize that I'm a 1/16 of an inch off one way or the other. All right, so we'll end up putting that there, I think, unless we think that's gonna be too glitzy. All right, and then here, let's just cut a strip. I'm gonna cut just a 4-inch strip. And let me get some of this other stuff out of the way. We're getting kind of crazy here, huh? But that's how I roll. All right. We'll make some space. All right, so if we put this here, this will go here. And then we could make our shapes. Let's see. We could even do it with this label. It wouldn't have to be a square or a circle. We could do it like this. So I'm gonna go get some Secret C cardstock. And we are going to do a couple of labels in the Secret C. And we're going to see how this works out. So is everybody in like the US done with all your Thanksgiving stuff? We're still doing ours tomorrow. One last one tomorrow. Well, no, because then Monday I'll probably make another turkey. Just because we won't end up with any leftovers, and I really like leftovers. So I think we'll just do this. I don't think it really matters one way or the other. Sorry, Bon. Is that your cousin? And I'm just going to cut a couple more of these. I am so sorry, Bonnie. Sometimes it is a relief to have it done, but it doesn't make it any easier. And yes, keeping busy and focused does sometimes help. Yeah, it's hard when you're close. All right, so let's get some of this put together. I'm going to go ahead and glue these pieces on. Well, just know that, you know, we all hurt for you too, Bonnie, even though we can't feel what you're feeling. Hello, Nicole from Perth. We are doing a little fun fold today. And I'm just going to score this a little harder. And we'll glue on this second one. So here, I don't know if you saw me do it on the other one. I'm just pushing it down on an edge so that I have them kind of straight. And I am not getting any glimmer or glitter on my fingers. So this paper passes the don't make me crazy test with me because glitter makes me crazy. All right. Since I'm going to use those again, I'm just going to put those over on my magnet. Now, with these, what we're going to do is one of them, we're just going to center here. We're not going to attach it. We're just centering it, and that looks pretty good. We are going to get our adhesive strips, and that one looks like it'll be good. We're just going to close this down here. I think that's straight. We're just going to close this, and this little adhesive strip is going to go right in the middle. Now, we might be just a little too snug here. This is like right on the money. So this one with the 16th or just the 1/8 inch might be just a little too snug, but we're gonna give it a whirl. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take this off, because anything else we do, it's gonna be easy to glue things together. And then this larger one, we're just gonna put right on top. And there's our fun fold, okay? So this is, it creates just a locking mechanism on here. So that worked pretty good. Yep. Just a sliding lock. So this one is the 1/8 inch gap. So this is just an 1/8 inch here, and here's the measurements. So 8 5/16 by 5.5. Scored it at 2 1/16. Don't watch my measurements because I messed up. Flip it and 2 1/16 again. All right, so now we just have to figure out what we want to do for the front of this. And if we want, do we want any of this on the front, like a label size of this? Because we could find, oh, I know. What if we did Joy? These are my Paper Pumpkin add-on dies. That might work. All right, so I'm gonna cut this. Oh, where did this come from? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's out of here. Ooh, almost lost that one. So let's just cut this down. And we'll do this, I think, in Secret Sea is going to be so dark. We want it to look joyful, right? Maybe I should just do this in the glimmer. I have to find another piece of that. I'm coming. There we go. So do we want the dark glimmer or should I go with the light? Maybe I should go with the bright. Let's try this and this. We'll see how it looks. And then I'll still cut out one of these. We'll see what it looks like. We might not like it, but we might. And then we should probably do a couple of doves, right? We could do the doves in the fancy silver or the green. I guess that's soft green or something. The light blue or the, what they call the soft green. I think that's what they called it. Yeah, they called it soft green. Love the doves. Aren't they pretty? So let's get out. We'll do the big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We'll move this out of the way. And let's just start cutting while we decide. All right, the soft green. I think that'll look good too. All right, and we're gonna do, so the doves in the soft green or the Joy? That might actually fit on my little scrap here. That'll fit on there. you got the set for the doves. They're really pretty. I made a card where I actually did just some ink blending around the doves, the tip of the dove's wings, and it just looks so pretty. I don't even know if that needs anything else behind there, because if we do this, that might just overpower the doves. So if we do this, I don't like that at all. But if we did the joy, in the dark, we'll see what that looks like. And then do some doves. We could also do the doves in that velvet paper. Let me get some of that. We could do the doves in the velvet. Let's just give that a try, see how that looks. Oh, and the soft green doves. All right, I missed that one. That's all right. We'll do it a couple of different ways. Oh, snowplow's going by. All right, so those are just beautiful. All right. It's gonna bounce out one of these times. There we go. All right, there's that. Hello, Donna. How are you tonight? All right, so now I need to do some doves in the soft green. We'll just try all kinds of these and see what we like best. Oh, I guess maybe I didn't cut this quite big enough. There we go. That ought to work. Ooh, that was just big enough. I almost didn't make it. Oh yeah, can you see the wing detail? It's beautiful. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit. Is that too much? Yeah, it's gorgeous. And I had done another card. Let me go get it. If you're wondering about the velvet and how it embosses, this is through an embossing folder with the white velvet. So you should be able to see that pretty good. And then these are all cut out from the velvet. And this is just cardstock in there. So I did the velvet on the outside. So I've got the white, the red, and the green where I die cut and embossed. And they look beautiful. And I did this quite some time ago. And I glued this down and it has not lost any of the texture from when I first did it. And this has been a couple of weeks. So I'm really happy with the velvet. All right, so let's see how our shimmery doves look. Whoops. We used a spatula last night because I forgot to put ribbon on. and I had to peel stuff apart. So these last few nights, it's just been a, a menagerie of mistakes that I've had to fix. Yes, that embossed velvet is lush. It's gorgeous. So here's the shimmer with the doves, and that cuts really nice too. You can see on the back where it cut. So both the glimmer and the velvet are very, very pretty. All right, so let's move this out of the way. Hopefully I won't trip on that. I just put it on the floor behind me. So now we need to decide if we want to do, was that velvet card in a video? I think it was. I'm thinking yes. Let me see if I can. Let me. One of these days I'm going to kind of catalog my videos. I'm pretty sure it was on a video. Donna, I'll just make a note of it and I'll try to send you a message. Velvet video, question mark. I will try to find it and send you a message. Or tag you in the post. So these are gorgeous. Do we like just the dark blues with the glimmer on here? That we might need to tuck behind a little bit. What do you think? We could layer these too so there's a little more glimmer, but I don't know that that will show that much anyway. That will show on here. And we could use the velvet doves on that one. This one I'm thinking this might just be a very simple, flashy card. What do you think? Yeah? So let's go ahead and glue this down on our slider component. I had to taste test some of my turkey just to make sure that it turned out all right. You would think that I would be getting tired, right? I feel like I'm just wired and ready to go. So 2 fingers, 2 fingers. I think that's pretty close to the center here. And then I think if we that ought to work there. This we'll have to put up on dimensionals probably and hope that the slider goes under it really well. I'm going to put this up on double dimensionals maybe. Let's see how that works. Although I can't put the tail down, I can only put this wing down because we want to make sure that that goes all the way off the side. This one I can just glue down. We should be all right there. I want to try to make sure I get this glue to the edges because with that slider element going over it, I don't want it to catch on the tips of anything and rip it off, right? And in most instances, they're probably going to be taking the slider off that way. We'll just hold that on and let that set. This is super glimmery. I love it. And then this, I just wonder if I put, let me cut this out of cardstock, because if we sandwich this on our lock, we could glue it. We could glue it on here, and then we could also glue it on the back of this top layer. And then the whole thing would slide off and we wouldn't have to worry about getting anything caught. So let me cut another one, and I'm going to do that out of the thick basic white because I want it to be nice and heavy. And I'm actually going to cut 2 of these, maybe. There we go. We might not need the second one, but we might. All right, so let's go ahead and put this slider piece on here. And that's going to walk over that dove right there super easily. Then let's go ahead and put this. I probably could have moved the joy over a little bit with having the dove on here. We're just not going to see this part, and quite honestly, I don't care. I think the doves are probably more important. So we're going to go ahead and glue these together, I think, and then I'm going to glue another one here. So it's going to be 3 layers, so hopefully it'll be nice and stiff. Or I could probably just do the 2 layers on the back. That might be better. Indecisive tonight. Hello, Bonnie. How are you? I saw your Afghan progress. What do you call that again? Luck of the draw? Is that it? All right. So I think what I do here is if I put some glue on this side, so we're going to put a little glue on the tail, and it's not going to matter if I have more glue on here that needs to be, because we're going to glue that other piece on here anyway, right? So let's go ahead, and I want to have this lined up so that there's a little bit of the tail connecting, and I want to make sure that that wing is not up too high. And then we can just do a little bit of glue on the back side. Hi, Juju. I think MacMan's probably asleep. And actually, it's not going to matter if I have glue on over pieces or not anyway, because there's a backing to it. So we're going to go like so. We're going to try to line this up. Gorgeous. And then that's just going to slide right back on there, and it'll lock our gatefold. How fun is that? Super simple. Okay, I don't know which one I saw the picture of, Bonnie. So we definitely need some gems on here, but these are little flowers. That's what goes with this suite. And I just don't think they've got enough pizzazz. I think I just need some rhinestones. And actually I have some that I already have colored. I know there's a lot of glimmer on here, but I think we need a little bit of something here. Don't you? I think we just need something. And that one doesn't have enough color. Let me go get my blends. I thought I was picking out one that had some color to it. There. Very cool. Oh, okay. I tried to give you a like on it too. How cool is that? So then I think what I'll do is I'm going to put a layer of Secret Sea inside. Not the glimmer, but just regular Secret Sea. And then a layer of basic white for a message. Okay. Oops. There we go. How cool is that? So if I do another one, I'm going to move the joy over, and that way the doves will not interfere. So let's do, whoops, let's do this. We could put the joy over there and the dove over here. Oh, that's what I could do. Because this is going to be a darker color, we can put the doves under the joy, and then the joy could be anywhere we want it to be, and that dove can still go down on there. Let me cut out two more of the flying dove. Don't glue down the wings of the dove. I'm kind of make them flutter. Yeah, this one isn't glued down at all, but this one I needed to glue down in case the slider piece would get caught up. Or do you mean on my back layer just leave the glimmer ones loose? So on the back layer maybe not glue these down, is that what you're saying, Bonnie? And that would certainly work, I think. Let me cut a couple of these out. These just don't want to pop out today. They are getting loosened up though. Good night, Yuda. Oh, for goodness sakes. There we go. All right, so these two will glue together like we did last time. Because that's our backing, our stability. then this one, I'll only glue on like the body and leave both of the wings loose. Maybe we'll give that a whirl. But this one's gonna have to have an eye, I think. And I'm just gonna take the journaling pen because it's such a fine tip. And my dove needs an eye. There. A friend of mine who has passed away many years ago, but she was like my best friend. She could never have any figurines or anything unless they had a face. She said, nope, it's got to have a face. It's got to have eyes. So sometimes I see these things, I'm like, nope, they need to have eyes. So this will end up going here. So this set of wings is going to get glued down because that joy is going to go on top of that wing. But this wing we can leave loose. All right, so now let's see what kind of base we want to do here. We could do the thick basic white again, and then maybe some designer series paper on this one. They do look better with the eyes, don't they? I don't know if I can get the eyes on the glimmer ones or not. Yes, I can. I might need, it's hard to, it might not show up really good where you're at, but it does kind of look better from here. You might not be able to see that from there, but I can see it. It does look better. All right, let me get, what do we want to do here? This is going to go on here. This will become our backing piece. And then, let's see. I think we'll do, I don't want it to be super busy, but if we do a white base and maybe more of this designer series paper. Or we could do the, no, I don't like that side. But we could, that might be kind of busy. We'll figure it out in a minute. Right? Unless somebody has some suggestions. I really like this. I like that under there. Because I think that'll be pretty. Because it kind of highlights the blue of the joy. That's going to go here. Maybe I should get a secret C. Tough choices. Maybe we should just do white and dark. Let's see if I can cut this one right. So here's my little template. I'm going to use that narrow strip again. So I'm going to cut it 8 5/16 by 5.5. Let me get my dove over there so I don't lose it. So I'm going to do my 5.5 first. And then we're going to do 8 5/16. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16, right? Yep, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16. And then we're going to score. Thank you for the visual, Bon Bon. We're going to do 2 1/16. And we're going to get that cutter blade out of the way. And I'll come back over here. And then I'm going to flip it and do 2 1/16. And we're going to keep our fingers crossed. I did it right, but that's super, super narrow. So let's just try. I might just have my scoring off a little bit. I'm just going to try to broaden that out a little bit with my bone folder. Because it's got to be wide enough for our adhesive strip. All right. So, 2. Let's just see if this is, see, this is not quite 4 1/4. I should have probably just scored those at 2 inches, but it's fine. All right, so let's go ahead and play with this piece. I'm going to put that in the middle. Let's move this up here. We didn't even have to do any stamping on there. So I'm going to put that in the middle. I'm going to get my adhesive strip ready. I'm going to close this. And I'm going to put an adhesive strip on here. Hopefully it's nice and straight because that's the important part. All right, and I'm going to shim just a little bit off this side. So you may have to adjust just a smidge. Oops. There. Just a very little smidge off of there, depending on how closely you line up your cuts and your score lines. It's not a catastrophe as far as I'm concerned. So that's going to go there. Let's go ahead and take this off so we can lay this down right away. All right, we'll put this on here. So this will be the toned down version. This is our glam, and this is going to be the unglam. So we can put that. We could tuck the tail behind too. That would be cool. I just want to make sure those feathers don't exceed the top of the card. So let's go ahead and put some glue on this. So this, I put those 2 thick basic white die cuts together because I want it to be strong. Yeah, these doves are gorgeous. And we did it out of velvet too. Were you here, Juju, when I did it out of the velvet? I mean, yeah, well, the velvet's right here. All right, we're going to put this right about there. And then I'm going to tuck this. Oh, we didn't want to glue that wing down here. I almost forgot about that, Bonbon. Oh, actually, I think that was Bonnie M that suggested that. So let me get... Yeah, it's a die, yeah. Thanks, Bonnie. It is from the... They're here somewhere. Here, nope. It's the Peace on Earth dies that go with the Peace on Earth stamp set. You can buy them individually, though. And it also comes with an embossing folder that was part of the suite. But you don't, and this ribbon is gorgeous too. Maybe we should put some ribbon across there somewhere. I don't know. All right, so let me get my apple, right? Apple tart. I'm trying to think what your real name is. I think I heard it on Juju's page. I don't remember. All right, so then we can go ahead and glue these on. So I'm going to glue the tail, the head, and part of the body. I'm just going to leave that wing loose. We'll see how that looks. All right, so that leaf, Bonnie, or the wing is gonna flutter in the breeze. And I'll get some of that extra adhesive off once it's set better. So now we can put the joy on here and center it, and it's gonna be on top of the wing. And I'm good with that. MacMan is pretty partial to blue as well. His uniforms were blue for 40 years. All right, so let's, I think that looks pretty centered. All right, and then this one will go here. Now we just have to figure out what we want to do here. And I'm thinking if we do a couple little strips, let's go 5. Let's do 5 1/4. I have this bottle, it's filled with powder. It's got a brush on the top, you brush it. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is my embossing buddy that I use when we do heat embossing. So I'm going to cut this at 5 1/2 first. Yes, Linda, retired. Let's do 2 and 2. Of course, my uniforms were blue also. No, except for my turnout gear. That was different color. So these could go in here, but we could also do, let's do 2 and an, you are too, Linda? No way. Well, how about that? still active or retired? No, I was with the fire department. Fire and EMS. Started in EMS and then later in life, I was in my 50s, I got my firefighter certifications. So we could put that there. Oh, what about that? Linda, yours is retired too? I kind of like that. I was actually thinking we could do layer and layer, but I like the top and the bottom a little different. I think we're onto something. And then let's see if we put this in the embossing folder and run it through the embosser. That would give it a little texture. What do you think of that? Let's give it a whirl, and if I don't like it, we can always use a different piece of paper. Let's see what this looks like. Put what back? This back? I ran it through the embossing folder. What do you think of that? With a little texture on there. When this comes off, it'll be blank, but we could always put a message on there too. We could emboss something on there. Bonnie, you don't like the dark one on there at all? Let's slide this back on here. So you like the lighter Designer Series paper on there? That looks kind of jungle-ish. All right, Bonnie, I think you started this no, yes the other night and made me laugh. From far away, that does look kind of cool because I'm looking at the camera shot. That looks pretty nice. Who else has an opinion? Yeah, Linda, we've talked about the EMS stuff before. No worries. Yeah, and when I worked at the college, I worked in the programs that we taught fire and EMS students, so it was fun. So it's got a lot going on, but this has a lot going on too with all that glimmer. So do we like just the flat blue or the textured blue? You like the white and blue with the dark border. So this and this. Let's try that. Textures. Well, I may have to do another version so that everybody kind of has a say. So let's put this here. And let's trim this down. So if that was, let's go to here. I think I'll trim this down just a little bit narrower. So does that dark border tone it down a little bit? Because that kind of goes with the border of the label then. But then what do we want to do on the bottom half? The textures with the dark blue? From far away to me, that looks kind of cool. That ribbon doesn't work. So this kind of works for you, Bonnie? Make the sides have a border too. So I've got 5 1/4. So I want a little bit of white around there too. I might have cut that just a little too tight. Let's do very elegant. Oh, good. So let's do 2. I'm just going to cut it at 2 1/8, I think. No, 1 7/8. So I've got this layer at 1 8, 9, 10, 11 16ths. That gives it a little more of an even. Oh, I'm sorry you're getting sick. Get some rest, Linda. Take some more zinc and vitamin C. How does that work? Yeah, and then you figure this will get toned down a little bit too with our dove under here. Gotta make sure the dove's eye shows though. Or do we just want one dove? Maybe not even the second dove on there. Or I could put the second dove on the label and slide both of them off. That might work. And then I think I'll put something here as well. You want the border thicker like it was, so that it matches that. So is this too narrow then? Or too wide? I need to cut a smidge off of there. It just wasn't even all the way around with my last cut. I got a little bit of frayed going on there. So is that better now that it's even all the way around? And I just want just a smidge of white on the edge too, just so it stands up a little bit, you know? Does that work? And then that's going to go here. Is that enough of a border, or do you think I need a little bit more? That works? All right, let's glue this down before I lose anything. I think that's pretty good. And this we'll put on here. A little more. Well, it's too late now. I didn't see that. You got to remember that the comments are delayed. Just a little bit. Yeah, it'll work. That way better. We're just going to do a little smidge. All right, and then Joy. I was thinking I could emboss something on there, but I think nothing can really compete with that flashy Joy. So I'm just going to put this on here. I was just thinking where that flat part was from the embossing folder, I could fill with something, but it'll be fine. Well, I'm glad you like it, Bonnie. Thank you. Thank you for collaborating. All right, and then this is going to come here. And then this dove, I think I'm going to put it right on top of that one so that when it slides off, the whole thing slides off. So I'm going to make 2 more of this little one. You don't need the second dove? Just leave it like that? You don't think it looks off balance? You think it's good with just the one? This is really pretty. So this Joy is from that Paper Pumpkin add-on. I think these are still available, but you have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. So if you're not, you can't get them. That one came out. All right. Phew. That one worked. All right, so where did my Joy go? Let me get my Joy put away. So I don't lose it. Oh, I guess I need to just slide this whole thing out because it's not cooperating. I think I need a little bit more two-sided tape in there. All right, so here's this one, here's this one. Let me glue these two together. We'll just see what it looks like. I think I may be doing a third card anyway. We'll see. And then this would go under here, and this would go on top of here. I'll post some pictures both ways, but I'm kind of thinking that second dove helps balance things out a little bit. I'll have to mull on it for a bit and just see how it sits. All right, so that's all I got. We went a little long tonight too for only doing 2 cards. My goodness. Maybe I should put these side by side so you can see them a little bit better. Get rid of my glue rag. Those are pretty. They're both pretty. And then I don't know if this one needs any embellishments or not. Excuse me. Way to go, Juju. Thank you. It was a group effort. Maria, thanks for popping in. Were you just watching from the background? All right. I have some of my stuff cleaned up. Thanks for popping by, everybody. Thanks for your collaboration. I appreciate it. I'll get some of this other stuff put away. And I'll see everybody, I don't know, 23 hours or so. 22 and a half maybe. If you missed part of it, go ahead and pop back to the beginning. You can always fast forward till we get to the good stuff. A couple of my measurements were off, but you kind of get it. Here's the templates if you're just coming on now, but rewind and you'll see. There's 2 different versions. This is the narrow version. Just be real particular in your measurements. Let's make sure this is, yeah, 6 1/4. So this is the template that I used for here, for these. And then you need 2 shapes, a larger and a smaller, to do our sliding, our locking gate fun fold. So thanks everybody for popping in. I will catch you next time. And until then, happy crafting.